Larry David has never been known for subtlety, especially when it comes to calling out hypocrisy, ego, or behind-the-scenes absurdity. From Seinfeld to Curb Your Enthusiasm, his entire comedic philosophy is built on exposing uncomfortable truths that polite society prefers to ignore. That's why longtime Hollywood observers weren't entirely shocked when Larry David appeared to lift the curtain on a long-rumored tension involving Rob Reiner, a figure often portrayed as Hollywood royalty, principled, and universally respected. What made the situation so compelling wasn't a single explosive accusation, but the way David's trademark honesty and dry candor seemed to reveal a side of Hollywood dynamics that many insiders quietly acknowledge but rarely discuss openly. According to industry chatter, the friction between Larry David and Rob Reiner didn't erupt overnight. It stemmed from creative differences, clashing personalities, and fundamentally different views on control, credit, and authenticity. Larry David has always positioned himself as fiercely protective of creative integrity, uncomfortable with authority figures shaping narratives for public approval. Rob Reiner, by contrast, built his career as both a creative force and a powerful insider, someone adept at navigating studios, politics, and public perception. When these two worlds brushed against each other, the result was less a dramatic confrontation and more a slow-burning exposure of how influence operates behind closed doors. What Larry David allegedly exposed wasn't a scandal in the traditional sense, but something arguably more damaging in Hollywood: the careful management of image. Through interviews, offhand remarks, and pointed humor, David hinted at situations where truth was softened, narratives were curated, and inconvenient realities were quietly pushed aside to preserve reputations. Fans of Curb Your Enthusiasm noticed that certain storylines felt less fictional than usual, mirroring real-life power struggles where one voice dominates while others are expected to fall in line. David's genius lies in making these moments feel absurd rather than accusatory, forcing audiences to laugh while recognizing uncomfortable patterns. Rob Reiner's public persona has long been that of the principled filmmaker, outspoken, morally confident, and deeply involved in shaping cultural conversations. Yet Larry David's subtle jabs suggested that even the most vocal advocates of transparency can be selective about which truths they amplify. In Hollywood, where alliances matter and contradictions are often smoothed over, this kind of selective honesty is rarely challenged. David's refusal to play along is what made his commentary feel so disruptive. He didn't launch a campaign or issue statements. He simply refused to sanitize his perspective, allowing implication and humor to do the work. The reaction among insiders was telling. Some praised Larry David for saying what many privately think, that power in Hollywood often shields itself through narrative control rather than outright secrecy. Others criticized him for blurring the line between comedy and personal critique. But that tension is exactly where David thrives. His approach doesn't ask viewers to take sides. It asks them to notice patterns. When someone like Rob Reiner, known for shaping stories both on and off screen, is placed under that observational lens, the discomfort becomes the point. What makes this situation feel insane to fans is the contrast between expectation and implication. Audiences are accustomed to explosive exposés filled with shocking revelations. Instead, Larry David delivered something quieter but more unsettling: the suggestion that what's hidden in Hollywood isn't always criminal or outrageous, but normalized. It's the routine reshaping of truth, the quiet sidelining of dissent, and the assumption that prestige equals virtue. By refusing to fully spell things out, David arguably made the exposure more powerful, inviting viewers to connect the dots themselves. In the end, this moment reinforced why Larry David remains such a singular figure. He doesn't expose people by attacking them head-on. He exposes systems by refusing to participate in their illusions. Whether Rob Reiner intended to hide anything or simply operated within Hollywood's accepted norms almost becomes secondary. The real revelation lies in how easily image can replace reality, and how rare it is for someone with Larry David's stature to openly disrupt that process.